with that. I wonder just what you... And now he's saying that he's going to veto it. There is some nuance to it with him saying that he wants a larger size payment to the American people, which is something that Democrats argued for at every step of the process. And now House Democrats say, okay, well, if that's what he wants, we'll provide him with that. I wonder just what you make of this very last minute scramble of what we thought was going to proceed here with this relief bill.
I kept thinking tonight, well, these pardons are an attack on our very democracy. This is an attack on every American. People who are struggling to get by right now, out of work, the unemployment is going to basically end the day after Christmas if this doesn't pass. People who are out of work, people who need the help. The vaccine distribution, Rachel, is in this $30 billion. These vaccines are not going to just parachute into a small town in the middle of Minnesota. We need the help for the states to get the vaccines out. And he is literally undermining our entire effort on testing and vaccine distribution. This was a hard-fought negotiation. Of course, you're right. Democrats were pushing for more funds for the individual payments. But in the end, this was a negotiation, and he knows very well we're reaching the end here with the unemployment, with our small businesses can't take it anymore. One Yelp study early in the year showed
Why would you give up the opportunity to expand stimulus checks to $2,000 if it is likely to pass in a week? What is 1 week? What is a 1 week delay if it means an additional $1,400 in one's pocket? I think that the American working class would be willing to leverage this additional 7-day period in exchange for more money. All right? This is silly. This is silly to take the side of the establishment members of the Democratic Party who refuse to push back hard enough against the Republicans. And your admission that this was a negotiation, yeah, well, it was a shitty negotiation, and the Democrats are cowardice and they didn't fight back hard enough, and now is the perfect opportunity to literally piggyback on the rhetoric and the offerings from the president to demand a better negotiation for the working class who were hit the hardest from economic downturn. It is so silly. It is so silly to fight for this particular shitty stimulus to go through. Like, understanding, yeah, time is of the essence. It's important. It is important. But I guarantee you, it is better to see what happens by riding this wave and applying this pressure to congressional Republicans, forcing their hand in this negotiation process, making them renegotiate the terms provided by Donald Trump, set by Donald Trump. It is so silly. It is so silly to defend this bill. I would be so embarrassed if I were Amy Klobuchar to defend this bill. Shame. The shame that Democrats should already feel for allowing this to be their final negotiation to offer $600? $600? And to push back? And to push back against the opportunity to give your own constituents more? You should not be proud. You should not be this proud of the way that you cowered over to the Republicans in the Senate in order to get crumbs. And this is your golden opportunity to right the wrongs that you and the rest of your colleagues accepted as a negotiation for your constituents. I cannot believe that she is defending this bill.
Small businesses close a day, and there's over $300 billion to help small businesses in this bill. It is the second biggest stimulus in the history of America. And for him to turn...
It's literally the fucking second stimulus ever given to... Like, I understand, like, no, this is not the first, this isn't the second, like, stimulus, like, there were stimulus checks that went out during the fucking George W. Bush administration. Like, I understand, like, the amount of money in the stimulus bill is the second largest stimulus package in American history, which is, again, why you should be embarrassed seeing that this is the second largest stimulus package ever passed by Congress, and yet the dollar amount of the stimulus checks given to the American working class who right now are not able to even pay their rent, afford food, they have resorted to shoplifting, they have resorted to bread lines, and the most that you could offer them is $600. Again, I cannot believe Amy Klobuchar is defending this bill so vehemently. I would be so embarrassed if I were her.
Turn this down. Obviously, we have the votes to override his veto in the houses. We have those votes. But he should not be doing this right now when his own Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, was involved in the negotiations from beginning to end. He is literally trying to burn this country down on his way out, as I said at the beginning.
No,
And
listen,
all we
he
can
has
do
plans of
is
his own.
push and
He has plans of his own. You know what? I think it's kind of, bravo, because you know that nobody right now in the House of Representatives are stupid enough to see Donald Trump doing this out of the goodness of his heart. But it's like, if he's going to try to execute some sort of like solo dolo lukewarm coup, and it's ultimately going to give $2,000 in stimulus payments to every single American who qualifies, then do it. And I guarantee you that's what the vast majority of congressional Democrats are thinking, apart from Amy Klobuchar, apparently.
make it very clear as we go into these Senate races in Georgia, Rachel, which party has people's back and which party is in the White House.